everybody. This is Michelle with Creative Operation. I'm going to share the tutorial today to show you how I made this really cute little pyramid album that I made for my good friend Yvette. We had a swap, and it was a Halloween swap, and part of it was we were supposed to make an album that was on the smallish side for our partner. We are part of a group, and we call ourselves the Sassy Sisters, and we've been together for years, and we've done all kinds of things. We've done blog hops, we've done lots of swaps. One of the gals in the group, Elsa, has done created her own rubber stamps, and so we worked with that. And we have been together for a very long time. We live all across the country and have a lot of fun with our swaps. And I made this album for Yvette for our latest swap, and she really, really liked it and really wanted me to share how I did it. And also, one of the other gals in the swap, Ceci, she also wanted a tutorial as well, so I thought, well, I'm going to do that real quick. So it's a really cute album. It's really fun to make, and you can use 6x6 packs of paper. You can use scraps, and it really makes a very, very cute mini album. And so today I'm going to do a Christmas themed album, and let's get started with this. The first thing I wanted to let you know is that this has been around for a long time. It's not my idea, and I don't claim that it is my idea, but I don't honestly know whose original idea it was. But what I did was I looked online, and I found a blog post on how to make one of these by Crafty Maria's, and I will post a link to her actual tutorial. Now, I did the base exactly like she did it, which I have seen other folks do as well. She added some different elements than I did, so you can get a couple different ideas for the album, but I'll show you what I did with mine, and then you can play with this and do it's really super fun. It's really super fun. Now, you're going to need a few basic pieces. So you're going to need pieces of the actual album, and then you're going to need some cardstock to cover the album, and then this album stacks on top of each other. So you're going to need several pieces. I'm again going to put the dimensions in the description below, so I'll run through them really quick, but you will need layers for your album. You're going to need a 6x12, a 5.5 by 11, a 5 by 10, 4.5 by 9, a 4 by 8, 3.5 by 7, and a 3 by 6. And then all of these will be scored down the middle so that you will get a little booklet fold. Okay? So you're going to do that with all of those. And then you're going to need the cardstocks to cover. And you're going to need the following sizes. You're going to need, starting with the biggest one, you will need a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do after you cut these pieces is you're going to want to add, these go on the tops of your booklets. So you'll score each one down the middle. Okay. And then you are going to score them down the middle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add these to the tops. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use some art glitter glue here, if I can get it to come out of this bottle. Is getting almost on the empty side, so there we go. So then just add your tops right in the middle, like so. There we go. And then we're going to do that for all of the rest of them. So I'm going to do that, and then I will come back. Okay, so all of my mats are on the tops of my little booklets. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to adhere them down. We're going to just layer them on top of each other, graduating the sizes, which will give us our pyramid shape. Okay, so this is super simple. You just take your glue or your score tape. You can use score tape as well. I'm using Artisan, or not Artisan. I'm using art glitter glue, excuse me, that I got from Country Craft Creations, and I think most of y'all know that I've been on the design team, and I started using this glue. I just absolutely love it. So if you go to Country Craft Creations, you can get some. Unfortunately, it does not ship during the colder months because it does something to the glue and ruins it. So she won't be able to ship it in the winter time, but I don't know if it's too late or not, to tell you the truth. She's in Utah, so I'm not sure. So being that I'm not from Utah, I don't know what the weather's like there. But anyways, if you get an opportunity to get some of this, it's really awesome stuff. I just love it. So let you know about that. But so here we go. So we're just stacking these on top of each other, and you can see this is how we're getting that nice kind of pyramid shape. And we're just going to keep going and doing that. And then we're going to add some really fun little elements for the inside of the album. This is super easy. You could do anything you want with this, but I will show you how I'm recreating it actually. The one for Yvette, I did it just for her, and honestly, I just did it on, as I was creating it. I didn't write anything down. So I am kind of recreating it from the pictures that I did take from it. So there we go. So we're going to keep going with this. I would also say use a heavier cardstock for this to give this album a little bit of stability. I used some 80-pound cardstock on this model by, let's see, Recollections. They had a sale not too long ago, and of course it's over now. They were discontinuing. They had packs of 5 sheets of 12 by 12 80-pound cardstock that they were getting rid of, and you could get 5 of them for $1. And I went to every single Michael's in my area and I loaded up because it's nice, because most of the cardstock that you buy in the stores is only 65-pound, which is, it's okay, but it's not as sturdy as an 80-pound. So it's nice when you're using a cardstock base for an album instead of like chipboard or something like that, like when you're making folios and stuff. So that's one of the other things that I also get from Country Craft Creations. I didn't use it in this album, but they have a really awesome Artisan cardstock that is almost 90-pound actually, and that stuff is amazing. So I like to use that too. I have a huge stash of that. All right, so that's the base of our album done. So this is the pyramid, and then it just opens like that. Super cute so far, right? Yeah, I like it too. It's really, really cute. Now, the other thing you could do is if you wanted to make a bigger album and just go up sizes, you could totally do that, but you would have to piece together pieces of cardstock to graduate the sizes even bigger. But you totally could do that and add more layers to this if you wanted to. But this is the base, and so this measures 6 by 6. So there you go. So there's that part of the album. So then let's go through and I'll show you what I did for each of the layers. So layer number 1, actually let's go back for just a second. So I'm going to put, that's going to be the title of this book, December 25. So again, I went through my stash and I had lots of scraps, and I also had a 6 by 6 paper pad that had just a few sheets left. So that's what I'm using for this album. And then I also got an ephemera pack from Tim Holtz And that's where I got this title, December 25, for the front of this book. And I'm spitting glue everywhere. So there you go. And I think this book, I'm doing a craft fair next month, so I think this is going to be one of the books that I'll sell at the craft fair. So then, on the inside, what I ended up doing was I made a flip, and basically all I did was, let me tell you how big this is. So this is 3.5 by 3, and then I scored it at 1/2 inch and created the 2 tabs, and then just, come on, glue. Like I said, my bottle's getting almost empty. So then I did that, and then I'm just going to make a trifold out of this. Like that. And just layered that down. And then we're going to put our papers on. So I wanted this and that to go inside there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. And then I just have that piece for there. So when you open it up, it'll go there. Okay? So that's how I did that particular piece. Just super simple, right? So let's go ahead, we'll glue those down really super fast so you can see it. Why not? Why not? And can you tell I've had a lot of caffeine today? I drink tea, I don't drink coffee. And today the morning thunder is working really well. Probably a good thing I'm not at work today. I'd be driving everybody crazy. Alright, so then you just glue down your papers, and then you have this cute little trifold area with a good sized place to put a picture. If you have other little bits of ephemera, you could decorate this. It would be super cute. And then I'm kind of a symmetrical girl, so that's kind of why I did the squares the way I did it, because I kind of like things symmetrical. Okay, just like that. Oop, I did it upside down. I knew I was going to do that at some point. Let's try that again. That is one of the good things about this glue as well that I really like, is that you can adjust things if you need to. It will stick fairly quickly and it dries very quickly, but it does give you some time to rearrange things or move things if you need to, which is nice. All right. There we go. Okay, and then that'll just fold like that, and there's your first layer. So then on to the second layer. This one's super easy. So what I did for her on this one was I created a couple little corner pockets for tags. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cover your paper, or cover the page with your paper. And again, these were cut 1/4 inch smaller than the page, so you have that nice border around each side, 1/8 inch border. Okay, so glue those down, and then I took a square of, if I can get it, I took a square of my pattern paper, and the square measured, let's see, so for this one, so the pattern paper that I laid down was 3¼ by 3¼ and then you take this piece here and it measures 2 3/4. So I cut a square 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then I just cut on the diagonal, and then that'll give us 2 corner pockets. So then you just simply glue on 2 sides, whoopsies, and then glue that down in the corner and that'll give you a nice little pocket. So then you could put pieces of ephemera, you could put tags in there. I used one of my favorite tag punches and punched some extra cardstock tags so that you could put, you know, little pictures in there, so however you want to do it. So super, super simple, and you can see this album goes together fairly quickly. I think the longest part is actually cutting it out, but once you get going on putting it all together, super simple. All right, so there's our little pockets. So that's layer number 2. Layer number 3, now this one I left plain. I decorated it with some ephemera in the Halloween book, but I just left it plain because I wanted to have places for pictures. Did I? Let's see. No, I guess I didn't. Okay, so so I just wanted to leave it open so that you could put whatever you wanted, and then I just decorated with little bits of ephemera. And you can, when you do that, if you put the ephemera on like in the corner and then just adhere it, you know, near the edge of the page, then you could put a picture underneath it, you know, and then the piece of ephemera would kind of hang over the picture and add an extra bit of pretty. And I didn't get an ephemera piece for this page yet because I just wanted to get the papers on. But anyway, so this third layer, that's simple and done. Okay, so then layer number 4. Now layer number 4, I did something kind of fun. So I made one of those book pages where the page itself will fold up like a book. So let's talk about how to do this real quick. So what you're going to need is a piece of cardstock that measures 8 3/4 by 4 1/4. Now, the first thing that I did was I measured 5/8 inch down and drew a pencil line on my cardstock, and then 5/8 of an inch up and drew a pencil line on my cardstock. And then once you have that pencil line, that kind of gives you guides to use. Now let me get my scoreboard and I'll show you what I mean. So I put it in, where is my, there it is. Okay, so I put it in here, and then, so you're going to do some score lines. So you'll notice that some of the score lines only go between the 2 lines that I marked 5/8 of an inch. Some of them only go in the 5/8 inch space, and then the one in the middle that actually will fold this in half goes all the way through, okay? I hope this makes sense. I'm going to leave this up here so you guys can see it, and I'll take a picture of this as well and put it on my blog. But you're going to do some score lines. So the very first score line, you're going to want to do it 1 3/8 of an inch. Okay, now the easiest way to do this is you can draw lines and then you can go back in and you can do this, you know, go on this on the lines. But on the 1 3/8 inch, if you just line up your ruler on your scoreboard and you can find that groove at 1 3/8 inch, and then you can go ahead and just score that. But you just want that first one at 1 3/8 inch in between the 5/8 inch line. Okay, the next one, the 1 7/8 inch, right here, just go down, find that line, and score it just in between the 2 5/8 inch marks. The next score is at 2 7/8, and that's just on the 5/8 inch pieces, just like that. And again, line your ruler up right to that score line, and then that'll show you at the bottom where to go, okay? So that's a good way of doing that. Then the middle score is going to go all the way down, and that is 4 3/8, and you're just going to score completely all the way down. Then you're going to move to 5 7/8, and you're going to make the 2 top scores. And then you're going to go to 6 7/8, and you're going to go down to in between the markings on your paper, and you're going to score just between those markings, not in the 5/8 inch space. And then you're going to go down to 7 3/8, and you're going to do that. Okay, so again, let's go through this one more time real quick. So the first thing you're going to do on your paper, which measures 8 3/4 by 4 1/4, you're going to measure down 5/8 of an inch, and you're going to draw a pencil line. There is no score. Draw a pencil line. And then you're going to measure up 5/8 of an inch, and you're going to draw a pencil line. And then we're going to do the scores. So the first score is at 1 3/8, just in between the pencil lines. Then we have 1 7/8, just in between the pencil lines. Then we have 2 7/8, and those are in the margins, the 5/8 inch margin spaces. Then the 4 3/8 inch all the way down, because that's what folds this in half. 5 7/8, just in the 5/8 inch space here, top and bottom. 6 7/8, all the way down, in between the pencil lines. And then 7 3/8, all the way down in the pencil lines. Okay? All right. So then, when you do that, you are going to have a piece that looks like this. Now you can see where I've drawn my pencil line. Okay, and you can see that I have scored all these things. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make 2 cuts. We're going to cut on the 5/8 inch line between this pencil, or this score line, and this score line. Okay, you're just going to make 2 slices, this score line to this score line, all the way across. That's all you need to do. And then once you do, let's do that. Grab my board, grab my knife, and I'm going to line this up. Pardon my hair if I get in the way. We're going to go here. I'm going to go here. And we're going to make a slice. Okay? So we just made a slice in between the pencil lines. Maybe we've made a slice. Didn't quite get through all that. Okay. And then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Okay. All right. So then we have that done. So then what we're going to do is we need to do some folding. So this piece in the middle here, we're going to fold that up like that. And just be careful to just fold. Oops, let me get my other one. Just fold what you need to and burnish well. Okay. And then this middle one will go inside. Okay, so far we've got something like this, and then we're going to fold that. I'm going to turn it over. Okay, you've seen these before. So we have this particular shape right now. Okay, and then this will go up. That will go down. And then this peak will go up into a mountain, and then we got valley and valley on the other side. Okay, so like that. All right. Okay, so like that. And then what I'm going to do is I need to erase my pencil marks. So get out your trusty eraser if you can find it. Whoops, wrong drawer. There we go. So I'm going to erase my pencil marks. And I have this Magic Rub eraser, and I tell you what, it's the best eraser ever. I love this eraser. It erases everything so cleanly. All right. Okay. All right. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cover this with your pattern papers. So again, I made all of these little guys that are going to go on to here. It's a lot easier, I think, to cover this one before you put it down. These little strips here measure, let me see, I'll measure that for you in just a second. Let's see what I do. I tried to have these kind of sort of, which I don't think I kept them in order, but that's okay. It doesn't matter, it's okay. There we go. And then, let's see, I'll measure those for you. You need little strips that go here on the sides. We're gonna have a strip here and a strip here, and then one here and one here. Okay, so for the edges down at the bottom, so these measure 3/8 of an inch by, oops, come on, Michelle, 1 1/4. So you will need 8 of these that measure 3/8 by 1 1/4. You will need 2 that are 1/4 by 2 3/4 for the sides of your little book page. You will need a pattern paper that is 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. You'll need 2 of those. And then you'll need 2 strips that are 4 by 1 1/8. All right, so I'm going to glue those down. You don't need to watch that part, and then I will be back and we'll show you how to put it in the book. Okay, so I'm back and I put down all my papers. And so now we're going to refold our piece. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. And let's fold it all in half. So when you do that, you should have a piece that looks like this. Okay. All right, then we're going to grab our book, and what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on these pieces only on both sides, and then that's what's going to adhere into our book. So we're going to, when we do this, we're going to do it one at a time. Well, no, actually, we're not. We're going to just put it down and squish it. Yeah, we're going to do it one at a time. Yes, we are. Okay, so I had to rethink how I did this. Okay, because the book is actually put together. And if you wanted to, you could make all of these layers and put all of the components in them separately, and then you could totally put them together afterwards. All right, so let's make sure I've got this right side up, because that would be a big bummer. Okay, and then just lay this down. Okay, centering that. Okay, so now you can see it's only adhered by that one piece. All right, we're going to fold that over, and then we're going to apply glue to this piece here, only here. Okay, and make sure that's down. So I just kind of held it like that and then closed my book. And when you open it up, you will have this nice pop-up feature, just like that. So that's how I did that. When you open it, it will be flat. but you really don't want to. I find it easier, and it doesn't get messed up for me if I fold it, adhere it down to one, and then put the page on top of it. It really helps it stay where it's supposed to stay. So anyway, that's how I did that. All right, so, well, come on now. There we go. All right, so that is that page. So let's work on our next one. There we go. All right, I hope that made sense. So page 5 was a simple belly band page. And so we're just going to put our pattern paper down. And then I just created super, super simple belly bands for this page. You could put tags, pictures, journaling cards, whatever you want in them. Yeah, and you're going to have a good size place for them. I love these papers. So I rated my stash and had a lot that I thought went really well together. I just think it turned out super cute. So I have lots of the Tim Holtz ephemera pieces too, so I can decorate it even more once I get the base of this done. Okay, and then just glue that down, like so. Okay, now your belly bands, super simple. I just cut a piece of, I got glue all over my fingers. I cut a piece of cardstock that fits the base page height-wise, okay? So this base page, this one was the one that was 5 inches, so I just cut a strip that was 5 inches. You can cut it any width you want. And then you're just going to, really super simple, put glue on either end and glue it down. And that is all there is to this. So centering it, I used my centering ruler and lined it up. So the white base is like at 2.5. So right about there. And then just glue it down. And then take your pattern paper. And again, this was cut 1/4 inch shorter. Like that. Just like that. Okay, so again, the belly band was 5 inches. Get my ruler in there. 5 inches, and then I cut this one at 1 1/4. So these strips that cover it will be 4 3/4 by 1. And you're just going to add, again, glue to the bottom. And this album is so small that you can use scraps. It didn't take that much paper either. That was the crazy thing. It doesn't take hardly any paper to make it. So let's, about 2.5. You can eyeball this if you want, which is totally fine. I usually eyeball a lot of stuff. Okay. And then your pattern paper over the top. Okay, that page is done. Now you have 2 nice belly bands so that you could put all kinds of stuff in. So our next layer, layer number 6, this was a pretty simple page as well. This page is just a pocket page, so I have my 2 base papers that I'm going to use. if I can get my glue. Okay, so my base pages for this just simply get glued down. This album is so easy and fast to put together. It's so much fun. And you know, when we did the swap, the requirement was it had to be on the smaller side. So then, okay, so here is my pocket piece, and I'm just going to glue it on 3 sides and stick it down, and I just use pattern paper, so 5 1/4 by 2, and then just glue it on 3 sides like that, and then put it over top of your pattern paper. There you go, and voila, you have a pocket. And you also have a cute spot here that you could put, you know, decorations, ephemera, whatever you want. The one thing that you do have to be careful with on this album is that you can't use a whole bunch of bulky embellishments because it does not have gussets between the pages. So you have to make sure that they're flat. So that's just one consideration that you have to make. That's it though. And then you just notice that I did the pocket page before I actually glued it on. So just to show you, you don't have to put the paper on the page first. Whatever makes it easier for you. So you could either put the page on and then put the pocket on like I did that, or you could put the pocket on the page and then glue it down like I just did here. Either way works. There we go. So, pocket page. Okay. The last part here was super fun. So what I did was I did a couple gatefolds. And what you're going to need for that is oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, got myself a little bit confused. You're going to need a couple things. So for this side here, I did a side opening gatefold. And you're going to need 2 pieces of white cardstock that are going to be 6 inches by 3 1/2, and then you're going to score them at 1/2 inch. So that creates the tab so that you can adhere it to your book. Okay? And then what you're going to do, once you score it, you're going to burnish it so that it's nice and flat, okay? And then you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to trim a tab, like so. All right, we need 2 of those because this is going to gatefold, like that. Okay, so these will open just like this. So then the one thing you need to be careful of is put it down and then just kind of make sure that you don't need to trim like an extra teeny tiny little sliver off. You don't want this in the crease of the book on this side because then it won't close properly. So just make sure, because I know sometimes my trimmer needs a little work, but I think I did it pretty good this time. So 2 pages just like that. So 3 1/2 by 6, score at 3, miter your corners, and then these will glue down to make a gatefold. Then you'll need pattern paper to cover these. Okay, so you'll need 2 different patterns for each side, and then those are going to be 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, so those will cover. And then you're going to need a piece that's going to create the magnet closure is what I did with this. All right, and so what I did was this time I got some more of those ephemera pieces, and I'm going to sandwich the magnet between the ephemera and the cardstock, and then I will put a magnet on this other side so that it will help hold it closed. All right, So there's a couple things we need to do here first. Oh, and then you're going to need a piece. I've used a piece of plain cardstock that will go right in the middle on the back of the page, but you have to put the gatefolds on first. So let's do this. And then the opposite side is done so that it opens from top to bottom, not side to side. So it's basically the same thing. You just have to do it in the different orientation. All right, so lining that up, not in the crease. Just like that. So I glued that down, and then this guy is going to go here, and I'm just going to make sure that fits, and it does. Put some more glue on the tab. And then when I'm making gatefolds, I just like to make sure I try to get them lined up so that they match. Okay, so now we have our two gatefolds. Okay. Let's do the outside. I wanted this, so let's make sure that is correct. So the first side on the left page, you can go ahead and glue that down like so. All right. Then, excuse my reach here, let me grab my magnet. Oh, there's my magnet right there. So we're going to take one of these magnets and we're going to adhere it in between. This is going to be our closure piece. So I'm going to put it, I'm going to kind of eyeball it here. So right about in here is a good spot. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this down onto my piece of cardstock. Okay. Okay. All right, so now my magnet is underneath there, sandwiched in there. So then when you take this magnet and put it on top, that will go there. All right, so now I'm going to just simply glue this side down. So in about the midway point. And again, I'm going to eyeball this because that's what I do a lot of the time. So then you glue that down. Then we'll take our tape off of the magnet, stick that down, and now our magnet is on our page. Now we can cover it with the pattern paper here. And our little magnet will be hidden. And everything will be good. Whoop. I'm gonna throw things too. Boy, that caffeine really worked today, I can tell. All right. I've already, I don't even think, I think it might be 9 o'clock, I'm not sure. But I've already got all my housework done too, except for the laundry. Okay, so that's done. There you go. So then we're going to cover the insides of the page. And honestly, I don't even remember what this paper line is. These were scraps that I had left over, and then I had 6x6 paper pads. They're old. They were in my stash. I'm really trying to use up my stash. I've been doing a lot to do the craft fair. And besides then, If I use up my stash, then I can buy more, right? Yeah. All right, so then this piece is the big piece that I just put on the inner page. And again, you can decorate this with some ephemera cut aparts. You could add another pocket in here if you wanted to. Just make sure, again, that you don't get super bulky with this book because it does not have gussets between the pages. All right, so there's that page, just like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side, but it will open top to bottom. So I'm going to do that off camera since you already saw that process. We're just going to do it top and bottom, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm back. So I did this side, the right side, and this is the last part of our album. So the first side we did together, and it opens up sideways. The second side just opens up and down. Same exact measurements for the pages, for everything. We just oriented them differently so that they have two different openings. And again, used a magnet closure and a piece of ephemera from the Tim Holtz Christmas ephemera pack, and made a little magnet closure with that. So that is the last section of the book, and then we get to the back page. Now we got to cover this up. You'll notice I put a piece of score tape on here because we're going to do a ribbon closure on this. So I got myself about a yard of ribbon, and I'm going to find the midpoint and then just lay that down here on the back. And then we have a back piece that we're going to use to cover, so I cut the cardstock. So the page is, the actual back page is 6 by 6. So this will be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 for the cardstock. And then 5 1/2, make sure I've got my math in my head right. Yep, 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 piece of pattern paper to cover the top. And then that'll be our back page. So I've already put that piece together, and then we're going to glue that on. See how easy this album is? It's so cool. And I love the fact that you can use scraps. So the Halloween one turned out like spectacular. I could see this being used for, you know, a little back to school present for grandma and grandpa with pictures of the kidlets in it. I could see this for like a little Valentine's Day present for your husband. This has so many applications. I just think this is the cutest little book, and it's just so fun. Okay, so the back's done, and then when we turn it over, then this will tie in a pretty bow and be a closure. Okay? Let's see. What else is I going to show you? Oh, and I learned something the other day. Well, not the other day, but a while ago, on how to close or how to tie bows that kind of set the proper way. And I'm sure probably everybody else knows that, but I was the last to learn it. But I just wanted to show you the technique. So real quick, so you take the right piece, layer it over the left piece, and then wrap it under. Okay, then make a loop with that piece. And then instead of, like when I'm tying my shoes, I always go under. Don't do that. Go over your bow and slip it through. And then that will give you a bow that orients properly, and you don't have to do a lot of fussing and twisting. It usually works out just perfect where the bow lays exactly as you want it. So something I learned the other day. So anyways, let's go through our book. I'm going to go ahead and I'm done gluing. So I'm going to close my glue, and then I'm going to grab my ephemera pieces that I picked out and some tags and things, and we're going to just put some stuff in the album so you can see how this is going to look. So I have a lot of different things from my stash here that I thought might look cute, so let's kind of look. So here's your album. First page is a trifold page. Super cute. Second page, little pockets, and I used my favorite tag punch, and what I did, you could punch the you know, single tags, but I folded the paper and then didn't punch the one edge, so it created a booklet. So we could put a couple booklets in here if we wanted to. And then maybe, let's see, that's a cute little ephemera piece. So is this one. And that will fit perfect in those cute little pockets. We got a page here, and I am not sure which piece to put in there, so I'll leave that blank. We've got this super cute page, which doesn't really need a whole lot of decoration because of all the pattern paper. It's already pretty decorated. And then we have this awesome piece here. There we go. Where we could put all kinds of different stuff. So we could tuck some really super cute pieces in here. Look at these pictures. They're so cute. Okay. And let's see. We could turn the page here. Here's another pocket. Let's put some pieces in here. You could journal on the backs of these. You could put pictures on them. Whatever you wanted. I just think this is so adorable. And then down here, let's see what we could do here. We could glue this down on 3 sides so that a picture would be put behind here, or this could actually create another pocket. That's a good idea. Let's do that. All right, get my glue out again. So, anyway, you got to get the gist of this album. Uh-oh, now my glue, since I turned it upside down. Okay, that's not going to work. Let's just, I need a new bottle of glue because I am about dry. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'll glue that one down there, and I'm going to put that in there so I don't forget. And then on this one, let's see, this one would be cute to glue down, and then you could put a picture behind there, create a pocket. So that is my album. That's how you make the pyramid album. Again, see the description down below for the link to the original blog that I got, the measurements for the base, and then all the rest of this is kind of what I came up with on the fly as I was making it. It is super cute. It is super fun to put together, and Yvette and Ceci really, really liked it, and I hope you do too. I think this has turned out really super cute, and I think you will enjoy making one as well. So I hope you have a crafty day, and I will see you later. Have a good one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.